Alright guys, so we're here at Black Excellence Bristol, and we're acknowledging aspirations and achievements. I'm here with my good friend Sam Ilogu. Me and Sam know each other we've known each other for years now.
Yeah, it must be since we were 11.
Yeah. So well over 10 years now. We actually met through skateboarding. We both skate at St. George. And so first thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is do you have any black role models?
Oh, several. I guess the typical ones Malcolm X was Malcolm X was always like a big hero of mine growing up. I was obsessed with Muhammad Ali when I was a kid. Yeah, because I used to box.
Do you still do that boxing?
Oh no,
No, you've
I haven't done that since sixth form. But
oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Growing up, I was a huge fan of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, and was that from more of a boxing point of view or more of his activism?
Yeah, obviously originally he's literally one of the greatest boxers of all time. He had this gorgeous tiptoeing fluid motion. But watching more of his boxing clips, eventually you're gonna end up on the sideline, you'll find out more about his activism.
Yeah, of course. But the first and foremost thing you're exposed to is the boxing. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is done purposefully in a way so that the oppressor can sort of separate his pivotal role as a black man in the civil rights movement and separate that from being a successful boxer who represented American boxing?
They tried to do that to him so bad. I mean, the man literally went to jail because he didn't want to serve in the army, serve in the Vietnam War. The conservatives, the press, they hated him. Yeah, and it's funny today, all these Republicans talking about great British athletes. No, not great British. Great American athletes, and as if if he wasn't alive today, talking about how awful the American geopolitical scale and he would have hated the Republicans that herald him as this amazing American athlete, which he was. He was one of the greatest athletes of all time. He was one of the greatest people of all time.
Yeah,
but he would have hated them, and if he was alive today, they would have hated him as well.
Okay, interesting.
And I definitely think they they've always tried to separate. Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And so, obviously, with skate and stuff, that's always been a very Eurocentric, white-dominated field, really. I don't know if you agree with that. That's my sort of. Obviously, we see the pros in American stuff.
I think it definitely was at the time. Especially around the 2000s era, and then I think what Stevie Williams and a lot of those guys did with the DGK really brought a lot of these amazingly talented black skaters to the discussion.
But in your experience growing up in Bristol, have you had a lot of black friends that skate? Because you're one of my only black friends.
Yeah,
that skate.
That's what I mean. I think not really. No,
no.
But I guess this is probably what we'll get into as this conversation goes on. But no, I don't think I don't really have many black friends.
Same.
And I think that's a big product of me growing up in a predominantly white neighborhood, going to a predominantly white school, going to predominantly white sixth form, so on and so forth.
It's hard to be sort of exposed to those situations, really, isn't it? And I'm the same, really. I never really engaged with many black people until I've gotten older and more learned. As I learned more about my history and my culture, the more I wanted to be involved in that.
Yeah.
Did you feel growing up then that you were almost anti-black in a way? Not anti-black, but sort of didn't. I suppose a lot of self-hatred.
This is actually a really good question. Do you remember year 8, year 9 time World Star Hip Hop was a
thing?
Oh, definitely. not definitely in a way that I was like anti-black, but like I think I probably had some weird like wait, how am I going to word this? You know what I mean though. You know, like
Did you?
Do you remember when people like were always like describing things as like ratchet and ghetto?
Yeah.
I think that like has like words like that and like the connotations behind that has like a kind of weird insidious way of getting inside your head, and like eventually, like before you realise it, you're associating that with
you internalise it and then you project
like American black culture. And like,
do you think like, you know, because you grew up in obviously like a very white school, St Bernadette's, which is sort of like near Knoll, isn't it? Like Knoll
it's like on the bridge between like Knoll and Knoll West.
Yeah. So obviously that's like in itself a very white area. Do you think like, you know, being one of, because there wasn't many black people even in your school and even in your year, innit?
Yeah, not until now.
So like you find yourself sort of like joining in with banter, but you might not even feel like comfortable with like aimed at black people or general like racist banter, but you sort of feel yourself like it's like you gotta be a part of it, or
yes.
Yeah.
No, I haven't really thought about that, but no, I remember like
that, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
this is the place to explore those feelings.
Yeah, so this is I've got so my sister's 15 now, and like the social media landscape of where she is now as a 15-year-old, but like obviously like TikTok and like they're just so much more just socially and like culturally aware. Like my sister's always she's like 15 and she's sharing like infographics of these like proper heavy topics, like the things that are going on in Palestine, like the like women's rights, trans rights, all of this stuff, and like when me and you were 15, we were just edgy. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know like
we were just edgy and annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I didn't really engage in anything like important, basically, or anything going on outside of Bristol when I was growing up, really. But yeah, like you know Cameron Thors. Shout out Cameron. He, I was with him not long ago, and obviously he went to Bernadette's with you.
Yeah.
His little sister goes there. And he said that like a boy called her a monkey the other day, and the teachers just like they almost not blamed her.
How old is she?
Like 13, maybe younger. I think younger than 13 actually. And they didn't like punish the boy. They were like making like excuses for him and like almost being like, you know, oh, he didn't mean it, or it just slipped out or stuff like that. And it's like, imagine that, you know, as a young black person coming to your teacher, your like, you know, primary caregiver outside of the home, and looking for that support, and then being met with almost the opposite, being like rejection, effectively.
That's egregious. There's no ambiguity towards that. Like,
no, of course
monkey,
not.
Like
and that's what
like
really struck
centuries
me.
That's been
like what really struck me was
centuries that's been a racist insult.
Yeah.
Like,
and what really struck me was that that's quite like an old school, like, you know what I mean, like an old slur to use. Do you know what I mean? That's what kind of like took me by quite a bit of surprise.
Yeah, like even you telling me now, like I'm like 2021, like 13-year-old, like, and the boy didn't get in trouble.
No, not as far as I know. He was sort of being protected by the school. And which kind of brings me on to my next question, really, about like, you know, in school and in the education system, like, you know, whether it's school or college, or even university, do you feel like your needs as a black person have been met? Do you feel like you've been like nurtured and supported appropriately?
See, this is a really interesting question. Like, this is something I find like really difficult to kind of articulate to like my white friends, but like when I'm speaking to you and like my other black friends, you just guess it immediately. The way they teach, like this was my experience growing up, and I never, like, part of me like didn't catch on to it, but also part of me just kind of accepted it. Like maybe I like tried to compartmentalize it by thinking, oh yeah, no, it's just because I hit puberty earlier, like I'm just bigger than most of my classmates, but you are treated different. You are. I do feel I was definitely like kind of dismissed more. Like there was less like room for my like silly kid stuff in comparison to my like white peers. Like some of like the strange banter that a lot of my white classmates would get away with. Whereas if I try, I'd definitely like get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
And like
it's a bit like what you were saying earlier, but you feel like, you know, like young black children are treated as if they're like older than they would, like, you know, if they're a white child sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen a similar thing as well. There was I saw an Instagram post about like these like really young like white girls dressing up as if they're like almost like an adult sort of thing, like wearing like a type of dress or something like that. And people being like, oh, you know, that's so cute, whatever. Yeah. And then they compared it to like black girls doing the same thing, and everyone was being like, oh, you're too grown for your age, and you're acting like older than you should be, and like, you know, girls your age shouldn't be dressing like that. But like, you know, they're like the exact same age. So I definitely see that with what you're saying. And so, you know, I see you got your African necklace on as well. We're actually matching, you know. So like, you know, connecting like to your Nigerian background. Your dad was born in Nigeria, wasn't he?
Yeah, my dad was born in Nigeria.
Yeah. So like, do you feel like, you know, it's been like a journey sort of connecting to your blackness or your Africanness even?
Yeah.
Is it something
you
like shunned out?
So I remember like 4 years ago, I went to Nigeria for the first time. Insane.
First time?
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. Like because I think me and you we talk about this a lot. Like again, like I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, like a predominantly white school. Like all my friends just like happen to be white. We have a fairly like standard white Christmas at my house. Like I spent a lot of time in Devon growing up with my white grandparents and like so on and so forth. Like I've never and so like sometimes when like growing up when I did hear like my black friends talking about like very specifically like their black cultural experiences, like a lot of the stuff I just couldn't ever relate to. And like I remember I think about this bar a lot. Like so in I think we must have been in year 8 or year 9 at the time. Like Earl Sweatshirt dropped a song called Chum, and in that song he said the line too white for the black kids and too black for the white. And
that sentence always resonated with me as well, actually, because I've always felt like stuck in that middle ground, like especially in school. Like a lot of my friends, majority of my friends are white, and like there was a lot of black people at my school, and there was a lot of you know, diversity in my school.
You went to
Fairfield, yeah. And like I remember like this boy who was, I think he was Pakistani. And he hanged out with like a lot of like the black boys and stuff. And then he referred to like me and my friends as like the white boys. And I remember saying to him like, you know, but like there's me. And then there was literally like, like 2 other black kids. And like, but we were all collectively the white boys.
Yeah.
And that was like something that really struck me. Cause like, and as much as like, you know, I'll be referred to as one of the white boys. So that's me initially being rejected by the black community.
Sorry to cut you off, but did you get a lot of that you act white nonsense?
Oh yeah. Yeah, loads. And it's weird now because like as I'm getting older, I kind of understand it because I've realised now I've rejected my blackness so much, and the past 4 years has been a journey of like not so much reinventing myself, but kind of like looking within myself and looking within my culture. And I'm starting to value things I never valued before.
Deconstructing these negative stereotypes.
Yeah.
People that are just like.
But like I said, I feel like there was like, you know, there's been like stereotypically like black and like things like that. But then there's also like things that are actually a part of black culture but weren't like a part of me. Like for example, the music I listen to, I used to listen to those like rock bands and stuff like that. And obviously there's black people like rock music. There's black people make rock music, and rock and roll came from the black community originally. But the bands I would listen to weren't black people, and they didn't have any black people in there. Whereas now, like pretty much all my musical taste is centered around like black R&B, reggae, dancehall, Afro beats. You know, things that are like literally like you almost have to be black to make this music. You know what I mean? So I do kind of get like where people would come from when they'd say that, because I did experience a lot of self-hate. I wanted to have like straight hair. I never grew my hair out. I would like all my friends were white. Like even like when it comes to family, I was like family events with people on my mum's side. I felt much more at home and much more comfortable, which is my white side. But then when it's my dad's side, my black side, and hanging out with like Jamaican family, I felt like lost. I couldn't understand what my granddad was saying to me. He's speaking in patois, and I'm like, I don't. Like, do you know what I mean? So I do kind of get it. Like, it's obviously, like comments like that, it still definitely hurts, and I don't think people should say that and kind of categorize people in that way. But as I've gotten older, I've started to understand where that came from. So just you went to the Ilogu Manor, which is your family home, isn't it? So that,
the Ilogu Manor,
And so when you're in Nigeria, did you feel like you were welcomed by? Like people outside your family though?
This is one of the bizarre things. So the village that we stayed at is like some in Anambra State. If anyone who's Nigerian is watching this, it's a bit in the middle of nowhere, like to the point where like a lot of the people living there have like never seen a mixed race person, like let alone like a white person. So like going there with my mum, it was like a full on like curiosity.
Did you feel like a little eyes on you then?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And like
I
remember there so I was just like walking down the street with my mum, and like kids would be like, come and look at the white person, like literally like shouting to like, and they like run out and just like.
How did your mum take that?
I guess it's like I know, like I mean, my dad like obviously like pre-warned her and like everything, but like even like with the warning in the world, it's still like still like quite a surreal experience. I imagine like even me like so like going through life in England, people just like a mixed race. My mum's white English and my dad's black African. Like I'm pretty like down the line 50-50 from in terms of heritage, but like even like going through life in England, like most people just assume I'm fully black, like phenotypically I just take after my dad, more like the dark skin, the lovely nappy hair, and gorgeous wide nose. But like when I went to Nigeria, like from a mile off, they clocked that I wasn't fully Nigerian. Which is like, which for me was also quite surreal. Someone referred to me as yellow. That was
really wow. It's really interesting that. Does that something that's like, did that like hurt you?
No, not at all. Like I don't know. Maybe this seems weird for me to say, but like in a weird way, it was like kind of validating, like in a way, because I'm mixed race. My mum is white. I do have like certain Eurocentric features. I'm not. Both my parents weren't Nigerian, and I think.
So it's okay for them to sort of feel that way and look at you as in like you're not exactly one of them, basically.
Not necessarily not one of them. See, this is another thing as well. Like while I was in the village, there was this a lot of like the older men, especially, they did like really reinforce the idea that this is part of my homeland. This is like a big part of my heritage. Like I am Nigerian. Like I do have this long and beautiful history of and ancestral line. So So like I'm descended from the Igbo tribe. Like that's one of the two main tribes in Nigeria. You have the Igbo and Yoruba, which I think Yoruba is like the predominant one of the two in terms of like population. I think, yeah. But like while acknowledging that like I am a UK boy, I'm like extremely westernized. And I still do have like big ancestral roots in Nigeria, and that's something to massively celebrate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Something that will never leave you as well, no exactly. matter how far away you move around the world. It's still going to be a part of you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But like to get back to the point when I said it was like weirdly validating in a way, I think I feel like me and you, we talk about this a lot, like the idea of like why I don't necessarily feel like comfortable describing myself as black, because I feel like it adds like too much credence to this what was it you said, one drop theory. You know, like this idea that like the moment something non-European enters, like the genetic tree is tainted. It's no longer white. It's something else. Like we see this a lot with Meghan and Harry's black baby.
Yeah.
Black baby.
Yeah.
Like, even though like Meghan Markle's mixed race.
Yeah, and
like mixed race and white. Like, so like she's one of her parents is white, right?
Yeah, dad's white, and then mum, I think, might be half black, half white.
Yeah,
because I mean, the first time I saw Meghan, I didn't know she was black until someone told me she was black.
Yeah. and this is what I mean. This is what we get into. Like, the baby is more European heritage than like African or Caribbean, but it's still the royal family's black baby.
Yeah, fully.
And it's like I kind of. So I feel like kind of wary of I don't want to add like fuel to that fire, you know.
So just like wrap up, basically, it's like I'd like to ask you sort of what's one of your like biggest achievements that you've had, and what's one of your like long-term goals for the future?
I guess probably my biggest achievement was getting into university to do biology.
That's very big, definitely.
Yeah. Like especially me, like who like historically has always kind of like struggled through school.
Really?
Yeah.
So I always thought you was very much an academic person.
No.
Really?
No, I'm the complete opposite. Like like I wasn't like a naughty throw chairs type of kid, but like I wasn't like in secondary school I can like literally count the times that I actually did any homework or revision on like my one hand. Like no, I was a terrible student. I didn't complete any work ever. But,
well, you made it to uni there. That was 100%.
That was a big turnaround. Yeah.
Nice, man. And lastly, what's one of your like goals for the future?
For the future, so I'm heading into my third year of university now. So hopefully if I'm really put my head down and study hard, I'll be able to like go on to do a master's and like I always feel like embarrassed when people ask me like what do you want to do when you finish uni, because like before the like even before the pandemic I kind of had my head set on like I've always thought virus research was cool. But like, but like obviously with everything going on, like it seems a bit. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed that, and talking a bit about like relating to someone who's mixed race, because I think that is really important. That'd be great for like people watching this as well to kind of validate their experience as a mixed race person and kind of understand it as well.
Because I think like the idea of race to begin with is like an insanely nebulous and like hard to define term. I think like even in academic fields there's like a lot of people really argue over what's his race.
Yeah.
Is that like, because I think like in a material sense was it your like the colour of your skin is literally, it's like primarily if not solely determined by how close your ancestors used to live to the Earth's equator.
Yeah.
But like obviously in a like socio-economic sense there's like all kinds of implications, all kinds of factors involved. So it's like, it's kind of, it's a big topic. And
But yeah, thank you so much for coming through to speak to us. I really appreciate that.
I did a good job.
Yeah, no, you definitely did.
Fun with it, but yeah, thanks.
Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah.